Welcome to the Africa Tech-Kin, your weekly guide to the world of technology, opportunity, and the future from Zimbabwe, the region, and the globe, right here on ZiFM Stereo. I'm your host, Danny That Guy, and what a privilege it is to be with you here tonight. This week, as we do every week, we dive into technology, and we're going to be focusing this week into the massive digital shifts that we are seeing happening right under our noses. The government is making some huge tech plays. We're going to unpack that as we get into it. The question, though, is, are they for the better? Well, we hope so. Also, when does a tech innovation cross the line from helpful to harmful? Well, let's unpack it on the show today. First, we're going to unpack the highlights from the 2025 Mid-Term Budget review that came out last week. And we're going to pay special attention to the money spent in the ICT sector. We've got the numbers for diaspora remittances and some major ICT spending that you should probably know about. We're also going to look at the streets of Harare. Big Brother is officially here. Well, we're going to be talking about a new automated traffic system. Is this the end of the traffic chaos in Harare as we've known it? Well, stay tuned. We'll be talking more about that. We're also going to talk about how ZimRA and the Deeds Registry have gone digital to track taxes and to secure property and what it might mean for you or your businesses. And finally, a heated debate. There's a local company that wants to offer loans for online betting. We ask, is that innovation or is this something dangerous? What could go wrong, really? We're going to unpack this and more. We're also going to be hearing from some of the newsmakers this week as we unpack this in this week's edition of the Africa Tech-Kin. That's K-I-N, Africa Tech-Kin. If you're going to be posting about this on social media, please use the hashtag Africa Tech-Kin. Kin, because as I say, we are all family and technology is what connects us. So welcome to the show. My name's Danny That Guy. Let's get in touch. The number is 0772-168-045 if you want to drop a WhatsApp straight into the studio, or if you'd like to be part of this show via our social media. As I mentioned earlier, please use the hashtag AfricaTechKin. And we can get straight into it, shall we? Well, we spoke about the national purse. That's the 2025 midterm budget review that was presented last week by the Minister of Finance, Professor Mthuli Ncube. I sat through the whole presentation, so you don't have to. And I'm going to be paying special attention to the tech angle of this budget review. How much money is being brought in from the diaspora through remittance? This is, of course, a tech story because we know we are using tech instruments and tech platforms to be able to make these remittances. Well, let's hear directly from the good minister himself, Professor Ncube.
Madam Speaker, ma'am, the country's external sector position has demonstrated remarkable resilience, as evidenced by the notable increase in foreign currency receipts, which rose by 30.2% to $6 billion for the period from January to May 2025. Even remittances, diaspora remittances, with a growth rate of 9.8%. The total showing a very healthy growth in our external position. Diaspora remittances is at $924.2 million during the first 5 months.
As you heard, the numbers are significant. The country's foreign currency receipts shot up by over 30%. That's $6 billion in the first 5 months of the year. And the key driver, well, our relatives and friends that are living abroad. They've been using remittance platforms to bring in a massive $924 million in the first 5 months of this year. Interesting. And I wonder if we are taking advantage of this fact, the fact that there's almost $1 billion coming in the first 5 months of this year through remittances from outside the country. This isn't just money for groceries or, pocket money for the kids. It could potentially be a powerful economic force. How could our local tech ecosystem better tap into this flow of money that's coming through into the country? Are we seeing enough innovation in fintech and our general technological spaces to take advantage of serving the diaspora and of those receiving the money here in the country? Some questions that perhaps some of the more enterprising among us are already paying attention to. I did promise you there would be some opportunities mentioned here as well. Still on the national budget, regarding technology, Professor Ncube went on to explain where the government is putting all this money, not just from remittances, but the rest of the money that's being used. The budget earmarked significant funds for the ICT sector. Take a listen.
Madam Speaker, ma'am, the budget and the Universal Services Fund, I'm now talking to the ICT issues. The budget and the Universal Services Fund provided resources amounting to 436.9 million and 54.3 million ZiG, respectively, to support the development of digital infrastructure. Notable progress was made in modernizing government ICT systems through the establishment of a secure smart government private cloud. The Ministry of ICT successfully connected 30 health facilities in Gokwe North using low Earth orbit satellite broadband. In addition, efforts to upgrade the National Data Center to Tier 4 standards are ongoing, targeting 99.999% uptime for critical government digital systems.
Yes, huge funds being earmarked towards developing digital infrastructure. Did you notice the minister there mentioned modernizing government systems with a smart government private cloud, as well as upgrading the national data center? I want more details on this. Smart government private cloud. What's this about? What's it for? How's it being used? How do we expect it to be used in the future? Some questions that need answers, and we'll be paying attention to the Ministry of ICT, Postal and Courier Services for some answers to those questions. Also mentioned that the Ministry of ICT connected 30 health facilities in Gokwe North using low Earth orbit satellite broadband. This is clearly a reference to Starlink. It means 30 hospitals and clinics received Starlink kits. That's great. I'm pretty sure that those hospitals and clinics probably needed other facilities, other things as well. But still, it's good that they have internet connected at them. So that was something worth mentioning as well in the speech. So look, we're always talking about how as a government, as a country, we need to be taking better look at e-services, integrating technology. So it's good to see that the budget actually had a healthy amount for ICT services. And we want to see how this investment is going to be taking shape in each of the different ministries. Are there particular services that you want to see the government go online, or you want the government to put these services online first? What do you want to see digitized? Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Africa Tech Kin is the hashtag. Please drop your messages on the different social media platforms. A clear statement of intent from Zimbabwean governance that we're going digital. So that's very good. We're going to look a little bit more at some details of some departments that have done that so far. Okay, shall we continue on to our next story? This one is about the capital city, Harare itself. From national policy to the streets of the capital. Look, if you drive in the streets of Harare, then you are familiar with the chaos that is Harare traffic. Well, the city council also believes that it has found a solution to this chaos, and last week it announced a high-tech solution. At a launch event held last week at Les Brown Swimming Pool, the acting chamber secretary for Harare City Council, Mr. Warren Chiwawa, he announced the launch of an automated smart traffic monitoring and enforcement system. Take a listen to what he said.
However, I wish to introduce automation in the enforcement of traffic bylaws based on the fact that the volume of traffic has increased from about 10,000 vehicles to 2 million vehicles plying the city in recent times. Our road infrastructure has not changed, hence the need to automate the central business district to maintain order. We have a pilot project for automation at corner Jason Moyo and Simon Mzenda to demonstrate the efficiency of the system at site. Available facts are that the city of Harare camera can detect and cause the arrest of 3,600 vehicles per week for stepping over lines and obstruction, while another Zimbabwe Republic police camera can also cause the arrest of 500 vehicles per day for failure to put on safety belts, crossing red robots, and speaking over the cell phone. So this automation will come in handy. The city should adopt an integrated automation system that leverage advanced technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and real-time data analysis to enhance traffic surveillance, monitoring, and enforcement.
Yes, the Harare City Council has rolled out an automated traffic enforcement system. The start was a pilot right in the middle of town, corner of Jason Moyo and Simon Muzenda streets, and the results are staggering. I'm sure you heard the acting chamber secretary mention the potential of over 3,600 violations caught in a single week. So let's break this down a little bit. This automated traffic enforcement system that was mentioned is using AI-powered cameras to spot everything from running red lights, or as we say here, going through red robots, to blocking intersections or parking in places that you're not allowed to park. The goal really is to reduce congestion and to improve road safety. The question is this the answer? Will ticketing thousands of drivers every week through these automated systems improve the traffic in Harare? Will it change behavior? Will it change mindsets? Or could this be seen as a cash grab by a council that needs the money? Where does the revenue from these fines go, by the way? Interesting questions, and we'll be paying attention to how this is implemented. The plan is, after this initial pilot project, this is going to be expanded across the rest of the city and potentially maybe to other cities in the country as well. So the question is, are you ready for these AI traffic cops? Is this a welcome step towards a smart city, or is this a worrying increase in surveillance in our capital city? In my opinion, this is something that's needed. We don't need human beings to be monitoring traffic, and frankly, we need it. Traffic in the capital city is insane. So we absolutely need the various tools that are available for us to be able to monitor and enforce the regulations that exist in the city. Along similar lines, last week, the Zimbabwe Republic Police announced that 27 police officers were awarded drone pilot certificates, and they were given advanced skill sets in being able to track and monitor criminal activity from the skies. The ZRP said in an X post, Twitter post, calling it X, said in a Twitter post that this reflects the Commissioner General of Police's commitment to modernizing the force through the adoption of cutting-edge tools such as the electronic traffic management system and other technology-driven solutions. So it sounds like they'll be using these drones primarily in monitoring traffic. Whatever the case, if you're driving like a maniac on the streets of Harare and you think there's no police watching at the intersection that you're at, careful, Robocop is watching. So pay close attention, and of course, we'll be paying attention to how this is implemented and what effect it has on Harare traffic as we go forward. All right, so those are our first two stories. We're going to take a quick break after discussing the midterm budget review and what it says about technology, as well as Harare traffic and how it's introducing a smart solution, something that we think is a good idea. After the break, we got some more stories for you. Don't go anywhere. This is ZiFM Stereo, my station, your station. My name is Danny, that guy. We call this show the Africa Tech Kin. The number is 0772-168-045. Drop a WhatsApp, or you can use the hashtag AfricaTechKin across our social media platforms. We'll carry on the conversation straight after the break. Welcome back to the Africa Tech Kin right here on ZiFM Stereo, my station, your station. My name is Danny, that guy, and I'm your host on your premier technology and digital tech show right here on ZiFM Stereo. We talk about all things technology. In fact, this show has pretty much become a self-appointed ombudsman of all things technology, and particularly of government departments and public services as they embrace the digital age and introduce technological services. For our next story right here on the show, we're going to take a look at two other critical government departments that have taken massive steps in the direction of technology and digital, and they've put in place these upgrades. We spoke about them last week. Another story broke this week coming through from ZIMRA, the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority, the local taxman, and how they are introducing some new steps at making sure that they use digital services in collecting their revenue. The Commissioner General, Regina Chinamasa, last week in an interview with the local newspaper, wide-ranging interview might I add, revealed a bold plan to create this nationwide integrated tax system that will monitor all taxpayers, not just the formal companies, but even informal companies across the country. She specifically mentioned including people like Mbari Musika traders. Very interesting. She said in the next 2 to 3 years, Zimbabweans can look forward to a robust integration of ZIMRA systems with broader government platforms that will enable ZIMRA to achieve a single view of all taxpayers, regardless of where or how they conduct business. The goal of this integrated system really is to have a much fairer tax system that not only includes the formal industry, but also vendors in the informal sector. On the one hand, this promotes fairness. It's great. Let's use technology to be able to make sure that collection of tax is fair and done correctly. Everyone who earns should pay their fair share of tax. But on the other hand, this God's eye view of every single sector, it raises huge questions when it comes to privacy and the privacy implications. How do we make sure that this is implemented without causing panic and without being overly punitive? Interestingly, this was something that was also mentioned in our midterm budget review, as we hinted on earlier, that was brought by the Finance Minister, Professor Mthuli Ncube. At the same time as ZIMRA announcing this pending integration of digital systems into the tax system, The Deeds Registry also made interesting announcements this week in several press articles that the Deeds Registry that announced that all property owners will have 24 months to bring in their paper title deeds to be validated and digitized. Now, this is something that has been on the cards for a while now, but in two separate articles this week, this was something that was mentioned by the Deeds Registry. And it's a huge deal. I mean, a digital deed system would make property transfers easier, faster, more secure. It would reduce fraud, but this doesn't come without challenges. Think about people who are perhaps not as tech savvy, perhaps elderly property owners, people in the diaspora. Are they able to make sure that they can bring in these paper deeds to be digitized in the allotted time? Is there enough public awareness about this? Perhaps more people should find out about it. These initiatives show a clear direction. And really, this is a good thing. It's time to digitize. All these platforms need to be digitized. We shouldn't be doing paper deeds at this point. But obviously, everything is in the rollout. Everything is in the execution. So as much as we applaud these government institutions and departments as well as public services for rolling out these different digital solutions, we also at the same time appeal to the authorities involved to be smart in the implementation of these new technologies and to make sure that the rollout is done in a way that actually makes it better and doesn't cause problems. Of course, as the self-appointed ombudsman for these particular things, we'll be paying close attention to both these and other industries as they continue to roll out digital solutions. Finally, we turn to a story that's less about government and more about corporate responsibility, especially in the tech space. Let me give you a little bit of background to this story. A microfinance company called ZimLoan put up on their Twitter platform, not X, on their Twitter platform, an announcement that they would be offering instant loans paid directly into online betting accounts. If you're watching this show live on YouTube, then you'll be seeing the tweet itself right now. Well, the backlash to this post was immediate and it was fierce. Critics called it criminal, predatory, socially destructive. The argument was that it directly fuels a gambling addiction, that it was preying on those who are desperate. But from a purely tech or fintech perspective, it's an innovation, isn't it? I mean, this organization identified a customer need, a consumer need, provided a frictionless solution using technology. Seems to be a win. So, look, we need to draw a line somewhere here because the question is the company's job to be a moral guardian? Or should users be free to make their own choice to use their money however they want as long as it's legal, even if it's a bad choice from those of us who look at financial responsibility? This is not just about ZimLoan that put up this particular question, by the way. This is something for the entire tech industry to consider. Because, look, on the one hand, a financial service meeting a demand is a good thing, isn't it? Technology comes through to meet the demands of consumers. The user, the consumer, is the one who ultimately has the choice and the responsibility to decide what they're going to do with those borrowed funds. Banning it could be seen as what some people call paternalistic. In other words, we are your father and we will tell you what to do. On the other hand, this service could be seen as removing friction from a potentially destructive habit. It directly links gambling, a high-risk activity, with debt, which is something that could exacerbate poverty, addiction. It could be seen as profiting from desperation. So arguments can be made for both sides, and we're not here to prescribe a solution. I'm very keen to hear what you think. Is this a good thing? Using technology to provide instant loans for betting. It's up to you if you want to use it. Or is this something that we need to take a closer look at? What do you think? Should this be allowed for everyone to make their own decisions? Or should the government or regulators step in and make the decision for us? I'd be keen to hear your thoughts. And I think it will apply not just to this situation, but as a general consideration for the technology space in Africa, in Zimbabwe, really in the world. Very interesting discussion to be had there. Okay, so that's pretty much our show this week. That's all we have time for. Thank you very much for tuning in. Some great discussions that we had, including an analysis of the midterm budget review that came through from the Ministry of Finance. We took a look at the multi-million-dollar digital overhaul. We took a look at AI watching us on the intersections here in Harare, potentially spreading to the rest of the country, as well as some of the tough ethical questions that are faced by innovators and technology providers. One thing is clear. Technology continues to move at a very fast pace. Don't you worry about it. Right here on the Africa Tech Kin, we're going to be paying close attention. We're going to be breaking it down for you right here on ZiFM Stereo, my station, your station. My name's Danny That Guy. It's been an absolute pleasure. I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Please look for ZiFM Stereo across all platforms where you can contribute to some of these discussions. If you missed part of this show or you want to hear it again, it will be available on all our podcasting platforms. Again, just search for ZiFM Stereo on whatever podcasting app you use. If you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, whatever the case is, you will find the Africa Tech Kin as part of ZiFM Stereo's current affairs podcasts. And of course, you can also watch this show on YouTube. We make sure that there's a video available for you to watch this show, as well as to make reference to some of the different things that we're referring to in this show. So go check out ZiFM Stereo on YouTube, click subscribe, and you can watch this show as well on YouTube. We'll also have clips for this on our various social media platforms. Again, ZiFM Stereo on everything. My name's Danny That Guy. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm your guide through this complicated jungle that is the world of technology. But of course, we call this show the Africa Tech Kin because we are all family and technology is what connects us. We'll be back again next week, same time, same place, straight off the news at 7 p.m. here on ZiFM Stereo on a Tuesday evening. Until then, don't go anywhere. We've got more current affairs shows coming up. Today, we're going to be hearing from the European ambassador in the conservation conversation that's coming up later this evening, as well as other current affairs shows. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more current affairs on ZiFM Stereo. As for me, I'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
Tune in next time for Africa Tech Kin on ZiFM Stereo, discussing all things tech.